Hello everyone, welcome back to Room and Board. This is Crowdfunding Countdown, where we take a look at every single board game campaign finishing up in the next week. And this week is better than the last, thank goodness. We actually have some fun campaigns that I'm excited to cover, and we have some campaigns that are probably going to be garbage, which I think we'll all enjoy more, since we're not going to get the other ones because they're probably too expensive with too much shipping. Thank you for being here. Before we start, I want to give a huge shout out to my newest patron, Abby. Thanks so much for jumping on board, Abby. Completely unnecessary. I met Abby at Dice Tower West, and she decided to jump on board the Patreon, support the channel. And you know what, Abby? I just wanted to say I really appreciate it. The board game community is so generous, and I just, that's incredibly nice of you. Not necessary at all, but incredibly nice. And thank you to all of my patrons as well who support the channel. It is because of you that this series in particular exists, because I would feel too guilty to stop telling you everything you need to know about every single board game and feeding your board game kickstarting addicts in the only way I know how, by just shouting at a camera and a computer screen. But let's get into it. It's I think it's going to be a decent week. There are a couple that I'm excited to look at, and the first one is kind of that. Really, this is me just calling out Alex Radcliffe for plagiarizing. You're a plagiarizer, Alex. I don't know when this started, but your little game show that you ran last week that we talked about, you stole it. Alex did a little game show on his channel the last week, which he got the idea from his wife Rena, saying all about explaining a game badly. You know, the one that that game with the cards and the dice. You know that game. Something I'm sure most of us have heard. Well, this is a trivia game that appears to be all about that. What's that one is what it's called. And you know what? It was a fun idea for a little game show, and I think it's a fun idea for a trivia card game. That being said, it's a $25 trivia card game that you're going to use once with 100 cards. And actually, it's $32 US, which is like $50 Canadian. Not something that I'm quite that interested in. But I still think it's an interesting idea for a game, so wanted to highlight it. It's definitely not the worst trivia game I've seen on Kickstarter, and I'm thrilled for them that it's funded. I just kind of wish there was a little bit more content than 100 cards, because that's kind of like 100 clues. And this is also a game that you could just make up yourself and have an equal, probably, amount of fun doing it. But if you're interested in that, check that out. That's Wednesday, April 5th at 11 a.m. Is that the quickest I've ever spent on a campaign? Who knows? Probably this will be quicker because I forgot I put it up here. This is why you edit. Arithmetic. That's more the... Good thing it isn't spelling. Tic Tac Toe, because I wouldn't get that. I wanted to see what the premise here is. I bet you just have to place it on a 1 and then a 2 and then a 3, and you can shift the things around. Let's see. Should I have stopped this from starting? Probably. You may laugh at Tic Tac Toe because it is a very easy game for children with little strategy. To the contrary, you will be surprised playing AT3 will also test your arithmetic ability and your spelling ability. Arithmetic. Well, I was thinking of aromatic. Okay, to my credit, I was going to make an aromatic joke, and then I just told on myself that I've never learned to read, and that's why this whole me reading the rule books for all these games is a complete sham. The truth is out. It's happened. Actually, a great way to play Tic Tac Toe. It should always be played this way. It's going to be a dumb price point, I just know, because it's a ceramic artist who's creating this. Here's how you up-level your Tic Tac Toe. And it actually makes sense. It's actually kind of clever. Second player gets to take 2 moves, so that offsets first player. Great way to improve Tic Tac Toe. Second, if there's a tie and nobody gets it, then whoever has the most points added up wins. So you're always trying to, well, you just place on the 3s first. That's pretty much all you do. But third, if that's also a tie, then whoever claimed the most blue spaces wins, which is a 3, a 2, and a 1. You may want to take that too soon. I mean, it's still tic-tac-toe, but it adds a tiny little bit of a puzzle compared to normal tic-tac-toe. And you know what? That's good enough to get talked about on this show. So I'm happy for the 67 backers who have found the optimal way of playing tic-tac-toe, and I'm going to move on before everybody leaves because I'm talking about tic-tac-toe. So let's go over to Backer Kit. It's been a while since we moved on to Backer Kit. This one is going to finish on Thursday, April 6th. That was Wednesday, April 5th. And this is a new expansion to the new version of Sentinels of the Multiverse. Can I help you? People, well, see, it won't work because you don't want to be in the camera. So people won't know how this got on my head. That's Renee's joke for this episode. So this is the newest expansion to the new version of Sentinels of the Multiverse, the definitive edition that is now definitively getting as many expansions as the old edition. I don't know if this is the same expansion, if they're just reprinting all of the expansions that you then have to buy again, because Sentinels of the Multiverse already had a huge catalog of stuff, and then they were like, no, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to make it all over again and make you buy the same thing, because your version is now obsolete and garbage. I don't come for anything. But let's check it out. Ah, so they've just added some Marvel Champions stuff into it. I do love in the video they say, here you can play as 6 new characters, 5 environments, 9 villains, and we've added all new content. So we know that that's the stuff that was previously reprinted. Then they talk about having a dark side that you can activate, which feels very Marvel Champions of your alter ego side, as somebody who's never played either of them. And so what they're adding in new, and it's nice that it's highlighted. Great job, Created in Games. In the gameplay section, it's finally highlighted after they say, don't worry, you can get everything ever that has ever been put out for this version of Sentinels. If you missed the last campaign, you can basically just get everything again. But here there's a type of card called Principles, named after my best friend in elementary school. I liked going to their office, okay? It's a safe haven. And it basically just changes up the way a hero will work. This is a big nope for me. I do like their explanations of shipping. I think it's great that they are working with multiple distribution levels, but states $10 to $16. That actually feels really reasonable. Zone A, 26 to 39, includes VAT/GST. I guarantee that the GST that we would have to pay here in Canada, it's less than the VAT that other people have to pay. I do like this though. It feels pretty good, actually. There's going to be a range, and also they say in Canada, listen, FedEx should bill us, but however, in our experience, FedEx will mess that up for some of you. And so if that happens, just reach out and we'll refund your fees. I like that. I really dislike that there's no base rule book on the main campaign, but you can go through some of the updates to see the differences. And you just draw, the principles seem fun. They'll add to your experience just a bit, but they're just one-time abilities that you can shake the game up a bit. However, this campaign gives no reason for you to buy in if you don't already have Sentinels of the Multiverse, I feel. But I've heard it's a great system. If you like that sort of playing a character, trying to go through, defeat a villain, check this out. Check out Marvel Champions. Honestly, I like Sentinels more because I like unique villains and stuff more. I do. I think I like when people come up with their own unique superheroes, because that just means there's more superheroes in the world. You can get everything, although it gives you zero reason to purchase this because it doesn't tell you even about that game. It just assumes that you have prior knowledge, which if you don't have prior knowledge, we'll go back to when we talked about it. Link to the Crowdfunding Countdown master list in every Room and Board video. $50 plus 10 for shipping to the US. Feels a bit much for an expansion, but if you love it, you're going to get it anyway. So if you're interested, check that out. That finishes 2 a.m. April 6th. Moving along, I clicked on this because it reminds me, just the box art reminds me of, hey, that's my fish, and I'm hoping that maybe it's worthwhile talking about. It could very well be garbage. We'll see. All right, this is just a little family game. So if you have a family, well, congratulations, stay away from bears, and maybe you'd be interested in this one. If you don't have small children, and you're not planning on taking any, getting any, I don't know why I said taking, well, then this is not for you. You have a little puffin. You run around, you flip over cards as you move, you try to find a fish, you try to bring it back to your house. You're going to flip over other cards, they're going to do different things. That's the game. How much is it? £6 or $11 Canadian. You know what? That's exactly how much this game should cost. That's awesome. Most of these are like little small card games that are kids' games. They still try to give you that sort of $20, $25 price point, and that's just ridiculous. And at this price point, honestly, $11 Canadian, or if that runs out, $14 Canadian, plus what's hopefully small shipping. Oh, they do have a list of countries. Doesn't ship to Canada. Does ship to the States for £13 now. Ships to the EU for like £9. It's such a shame that shipping is more expensive than the game, but if, it's honest, you can get this for $20, right? To your door, something like that. I mean, clearly it's not for me. It is a child's game. And I just got out of childhood. All of my innocence was just stripped away from me. It was so close, too. I almost held on to it, but it was taken away from me. And I was instantly turned into just a grizzled, weathered, battered soul. But once I was a child, and I may have enjoyed flipping over a card to see if I uncover some puffins. Certainly better than ouch. Because there are things that have different effects rather than you just shouting ouch. Sure, there you go, Puffin Rush. Honestly worth talking about, but that's enough. Finishes Thursday, April 6th at 10:40 a.m. Moving along to Dreams of Yesterday. This one is another good price point. It's $9, and I know nothing about it, but I know it's for 1 to 3 players, and I know it's set collection, and I'm going to find out everything there is to know about it, and then tell you a very tiny portion, leaving a lot of mystery out in the world, so you can just wonder. You can wonder to yourself, what sort of dreams has Chris not been telling us about? Well, have I got some dreams for you that I'll share in a moment. Okay, 2 seconds later. There was one great dream that I always go back to. I can't tell you about the dream that I had last night, but I can tell you about the dream where I was skiing down a very tall mountain, and I was also on the back of like a boat or a truck, and I was going over these big jumps and landing. It was very cinematic. All my dreams are very cinematic. And then I was skiing. My goal, of course, was Wendy's, and I jumped over this big jump, and I landed at the Wendy's, stopped my way in, went through the Wendy's, and there was this plank. There was this sort of wooden plank that you could get up to the front of the ordering area, and beside those planks was this green bubbling goo, and you had to avoid jumping in that or else you wouldn't get your burger. That was a dream I had. What does that mean, you dream diarists? Please let me know, because I've been dying to find out. My dream last night, I was just in an original musical. That's it. That's all it was. And I also have this recurring nightmare. Oh, see, this isn't about dreams at all. This is about collecting fossils. Dreams of yesterday. You're trying to take some dreams from the past and put them on a display in a museum. Well, I'm glad I didn't reveal my deepest, darkest dreams, like the one where my eyes are ants. Ugh. Okay, I've never had that dream. I was just trying to think of something scary. Did I terrify you? Okay, let's get on with it. Yeah, seems sweet, actually. What I do like, you're building a little tableau. You're drafting cards from an open market. You're building a little tableau, putting them into your exhibit. And what I really do like is that each card kind of has an ability which can help you manipulate the tableau that you'd previously placed. And you're going to score points for whatever you put down, and also matching things on the side. So you want to create a flow of your exhibit, because you don't want to have a Triceratops and then right next to it have a spaceship, and then right next to that have the recipe for insulin. It's a recipe, right? Yeah. There's no flow there. You want a Triceratops family, a bear, a Tyrannosaurus eating said bear, the Triceratops family rejoicing, the Tyrannosaurus and the Triceratops having a beautiful love story, and then whatever dinosaur baby fusion that they produce. That's the ideal exhibit. Also a recurring dream I've had. Rulebook, good job. In the how to play section, great job. This is odd to me in the rulebook, but I'm sure this is just a 3-player game. You can pay an additional resource to move steps. So when you're drafting your cards, you have to start in a corner basically, and then you can move 2 spaces. But if you move 2 spaces, you can basically take any cards you want except for the one in the corner. So it doesn't feel like there's going to be that much blocking as well, because if you're just restricted to 1 card, maybe, depending upon what's out there. And they say you can pay an additional resource if you want to go further. So if you really want that card in the corner, you have an ability to take it. I assume it doesn't have a 3-player setup in here, but it says 1 to 3 players. I assume that the grid is bigger or larger, and so that's why that's in there, because it says, for each additional space, pass 2. I don't mind that. Makes it a little bit more interesting than just like a standard draft as well. Sure. But I would want it to be a little bit more involved. Maybe it'll be more involved with a 3-player game. Otherwise, seems fine. Oh yeah, you can add in 2 copies for a 4 to 6 player game. Yeah, it seems light, neat. If you really like drafting, maybe check this one out. It's only $9, and it'll be about $5 to ship it because it'll be small. So $14 for a little drafting game, very reasonable price. Nice color palette. Seems mechanically solid as a nice filler game. Yeah. If that seems exciting to you, check it out. The finish is April 6th over on BackerKit at 8 p.m. Moving along to Townsfolk Tussle, The Foul Neighbours, and Odd Jobs. See, I heard somebody said it was Nefarious Neighbours, but it certainly wasn't me. You'll see that it says it's raised over $1 million, but it hasn't. It's raised $840,000. It might cross that $1 million bar. It's a bit too late for me to do a 5 reasons you shouldn't back it on it, but my main reason would be, in case you missed it in my review, is that the 4 ruffian section feels like it overstays its welcome. I really only want to play a ruffian game with 2 players. Somebody said I didn't mention that enough in my review, so I really want to make sure that I emphasize 4 players overstays its welcome, better at 2 plays, 2 ruffians that you're battling. I almost clicked the video, but I've already seen the video. If you haven't seen my review on Townsfolk Tussle, I covered what the base game does and what the expansions do, but now we've got price points to talk about, which I didn't have when I did that review. So go check that out if you want to see like a full breakdown of the gameplay. Otherwise, there's some noticeable nice changes. Each new ruffian will have an ambush card, and this is just like a special rule. It's not anything special. They didn't even add in ambush cards for the previous ruffians, which, well, maybe they did. Maybe that's a new stretch goal, but I doubt it. This is just tells you how the ruffians operate. So, for example, the Fish Boys ruffian ambush card says that he can only move on water, but he's going to make the water spaces erupt across the board. And of course, you're going to get these fun minis as well. The ones that I don't know are Ernie Offal, Red Atrocious instead of Red Delicious. That's very funny. Barry Bluff, and Tilda Fields. You got a Tilda Fields, plus you get Judy Marks and Fridget Jones. The price point here is expensive. It is. The base game was $85, I think, last time, and it's $105 now. That honestly feels reasonable considering the inflation that as it happens, and it feels like back then it felt like it was a $100 game before. I think that feels reasonable for the amount of stuff that you do get. The returning stuff, if you already have Townsfolk Tussle, you're looking to spend another $115 US or 156 Canadian to get both of the expansions. And the fact that it is so expensive, more expensive than the base game, makes me kind of revisit my opinion that you should just get both, like unequivocally, that you should just get everything if you're jumping into Townsfolk Tussle for the first time. I don't know if you do. I think you should get the Odd Jobs, because I also think the Odd Jobs is only like $30. And for that price, the Odd Jobs feels like a really good idea. I love that they're getting a little bit of a bigger box. I love that they're redesigning the trays, because I was not happy with the game trays and how the game trays did it. I found there were a lot of really silly things that were done. And so the fact that they are reformatting the trays in a way like this right here makes so much sense. I love seeing the little organizers for the solo squares, and that potentially might stop all the terrain from just exploding out on the table. The fact that you can pull this out in a little bit larger case, I found there wasn't that much room to get the coins before, and then this feels like a great storage solution. This storage solution that they're presenting feels better than their current storage solution. So I think you're getting a better box based upon just the organization and breakdown. So I'm excited for that. I mean, that being said, like, mine is perfectly usable. It just is a bit cumbersome to take some stuff out. And so I really like that they did decide to do that redesign, which I didn't expect them to be doing. Getting everything for that $210 price point feels like it is a bit too much, honestly. If it's like spend $210 on this, spend $230 on Elder Scrolls, it's maybe spend it on Elder Scrolls. However, if you want Townsfolk Tussle, I think you could justify getting the $30 Odd Jobs expansion. You don't necessarily need the Foul Neighbours expansion, and if you're sad and you feel like you're going to miss out on something, well, I'll tell you what would have happened when you faced Mist Falls. I'll reveal it to the world. This added upgrade pack feels unnecessary. It's just errata. Sure, I don't want to spend $10 to fix it. It's perfectly fine. I've already stumbled through the clarity issues, any of them that came about. I don't need to spend $10 to fix that additional clarity. These pins are quite nice, though. I have 4 of them. They're cute. I mean, if you like pins, I honestly don't find a use for pins unless I have a convention lanyard, and then it was fun to put them on. But then after that, I don't quite really know what to do with pins. But if you're a pin collector, these are great. And then let's check out the stretch goals. Let's see how great they look. Oh, a little sheriff's badge pin. Adding a 7th pin to the pin set, so useless for anybody who's actually getting the game and nothing else. A trophy tracker sticker sheet. That's actually kind of fun for unlocking stuff. And removability of stickers. Honestly, adding this as a token is fun. That's going to be the fish boy, Tartar fish boy. The map, didn't care about for my first one. Action card illustrations are neat. Additional event gear is always great. Map, who cares? The sheriff pinata. I think one of them is one you should be hitting. Yeah, Foul Neighbours at 75. So really this is 105, let's be clear, because it's 75 and 30, you don't need the errata, or at least I don't think so. It's a tough call. I think if you're just jumping into Townsfolk Tussle, I wouldn't get the Foul Neighbours right now, because it does put into that really expensive price point. I was thinking there was only going to be the 4, and then there's going to be 8 ruffians. I mean, you do get that additional variability with the ruffians, so it's a tough call. But I think if you just got the base game and the odd jobs, that would be enough to last you a really long while. So yeah, if price is no object, I still stand by what I said in my review. It only gives you more stuff, and that stuff only improves upon the original. It's true with the expansion content. Do you need it? But if you're getting the base games, for sure get the odd jobs, and if money is no object, and you really resonate with the style and the theme, well, then you know what to do. I just feel bad because I know it's expensive, right? And I try to be the voice of consistent restraint, but it's fun. I'm glad I own a copy. I also still stand by that it was a seal of approval, not a seal of distinction. It's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the expansion content more, and I still might enjoy the art and the humor and the style and the feeling of the game the most, rather than the actual mechanics, which are just very simple. But if you're interested in that, check that out. The finish is Thursday, April 6th at 10 p.m. Moving along, I didn't know this was getting an expansion or a reprint, and I'm excited about it because of how much Alex Radcliffe over at Board Game Co. has been talking about this recently. He's loving it. That's D.E.I, Divide et Impera. And there's a new expansion plus a reprint. I'm interested to see. I'm interested to refresh on the rules. I feel like I kind of know the rules, but not really. So let's take a look, and then we'll talk about it. What the base is, but I know Alex has been talking about it on it and off camera. So that makes me take note. You had me at asymmetrical faction. Core box at that €90. Well, that is if you get the leader, I guess, eh? So you spend an extra 30 to save an extra 19. This is so odd to me. Yeah, where the core box is more expensive in the all-in. Like, why would you phrase this marketing this way? Just make something not as expensive. Just give the discount. Oh, because then people wouldn't add things on. Like, the fact that there is a disparate amount of the discount of the core box here and the core box here is ludicrous. Ludus Magnus Chris. That's what it is. God, that's so stupid. Honestly, that makes me... Oh, free. Wow, that one's free now. Woohoo. And you get all these different discounts. It's all garbage. It's just like... That's the bundled deal. Why is it different? Oh, this was 59. Now it's free. So stupid. So €109. Well, €139 if you want this pack. That's 209 Canadian. That's expensive. Let's get to gameplay in the rulebook. We have a rulebook. That's nice. Not a long rulebook, though. That's pretty good. Oh, that's neat. Each faction has 8 faction cards, but you keep your action cards face up so your players can see what sort of actions you have available. So it's not about holding cards in your hand, but when you're manipulating the board state, you're going to be having your cards face up, or maybe that's just set up, I'm not quite sure. I really like how the board is structured, though. You can see right here, this gets me excited, that there are these little tri-level tiles that you're going to have to assemble and then use for the remainder of your games. And the fact that moving around them and figuring out the actual height, that feels really cool to me. I think White Death could really benefit, the new Zombicide that's coming out, could really benefit from something like this because they have this sort of barricade system. Although I'm sure CMON's going to throw in some extra 3D stuff. We'll talk about that when that launches. I just got to play it for the first time, which was cool. Seems a bit complicated just to get a sense of right now, but the basics of it is that you're going to have action cards and they're going to allow you to do things. The majority of the things that you can do will be like moving and spawning and upgrading your cards. Those seems to be the general stuff that you'll end up doing. You can also be trying to control certain sections of the board because then they will give you additional stuff. You want supplies. Everybody in D.E.I, they want supplies. They're getting D.E.I off their own supply. No. Just the fact that White Death has three new factions honestly makes me kind of okay with the $30 increase. Their gameplay section is very poor. The rulebook is not the easiest to understand, but not the worst. It goes into really good detail in terms of the actual setup of the game, which I always find that's great when you have the game in front of you, and then it's a little harder when you are just imagining it all. But yeah, here are all your actions. You can enlist, you can move, you can collect stuff, you can buy a card, you can build something, elevators or bridges. Elevators get you from, one spot to a higher spot. Bridges can get you across, like we saw in that little example. Build a refuge, build a bridge. So you can build, or you can, which just gives you a general building, and then it tells you how to build a refuge, build a bridge, or build an elevator, which are specific uses on how you navigate the map. I like the amount of variability. I like that the 4 factions are asymmetric. I mean, if you want your way into my heart, of course you're going to talk about asymmetric factions. We know we love it. Let's see what shipping is. That's the real way to my heart. Even more than asymmetric factions. Shipping is the real way to my heart. Canada, €15. Oh, that's just for the expansion. The leader is 23. €23. USA, €18. So instead of it being €140, it's more €163. $240 Canadian. It's, again, games are expensive. I did just go on this whole tear about Elder Scrolls being so expensive, and we'll get to Elder Scrolls when it's finishing up, but this is almost equally expensive, right? And is equally then hard to justify. Looks cool, though. Honestly, the terrain is what's really making it stand out for me. This is how you do sort of 3D terrain and elevated terrain without needing a whole bunch of plastic, and just having it already on the board is very exciting from like a setup point of view. Yeah, it seems fun. Seems fun, seems solid, seems like you'll be choosing your basic actions very easily. I hate this as a discount. I wish I knew if I could just get the base game. Pledge Manager open the second quarter of 2023. Love that they've itemized this. Faith and Anarchy Meeple version will be released in retail or on our web store. So let's go see, actually, because you're only getting the mini version here. So for $147, you could get the Meeple version. And for €79, well, clearly they don't want me to see the Meeple version. For €79, you could get the core game at the Meeple version. That feels so much better to me than feeling like you need to spend that $139 because you aren't getting a discount as an add-on over at GameFound, right? Because their add-ons, the add-on is €99. So you spend €99 or you save yourself $20 and get the Meeple version, which at $79 for just trying it out, to have a Meeple version versus the minis, yeah, I'd be into that. I mean, the minis do look cooler, but the Meeple would be completely fine, I assume. €79, or if you can get it at your store, now we'd be talking. Now that's in more of an interesting range for me. As it stands right now, feels like the offers that they're offering here, $150 for the core. Don't want the White Death when you see those comparison numbers in Canadian. But yeah, feels like a solid game. I also am riding a little bit high off of Alex's recommendation, but I know he really enjoys it and was excited to talk about it. And was just excited to talk about it to me when we were hanging out and chatting. So he's being, not a shill. Yeah, but just knowing that you can get it from their website, that's something that whenever these reprints happen and you can get the Meeple version, right, when they're not offering it here, that's the sort of thing that's worth looking into. So, worthwhile bringing up. If you're interested in that, though, that finishes on the 7th. That's Friday the 7th at 4 p.m. Next up, we have Fast Cap Racing. It's a print-and-play bottle cap racing game. That's exactly what it is. Should we check out the rulebook? It's not really loading, but I imagine this how to play section pretty much covers it. You flick your disc. You have to round the corners, right? That's what these are designated for. You got to round the corners. Be the first person to flick it back. Print and play, €4, $6 Canadian. You can get everything you need to flick some bottle caps and make yourself a little raceway. If that interests you, check it out. That's Monday, April 10th at 12:59 p.m. Next up, something I'm also excited to check out because AEG is a good company. We have Let's Go to Japan. You've picked the date and booked your flight. Now it's time to plan your dream vacation to Japan. Well, in Let's Go to Japan, you're going to be doing the best activity you can possibly do when going on a trip, and that is planning the trip. Yes, planning the trip is the most fun. You almost have to not leave your house whatsoever. It's like reading the rulebooks for a bunch of games and not playing most of them. You can get a lot done when you plan, and you can just imagine it. If you imagine your fun, you don't ever need to play it, right? That's a good stance to take. This is going to be hard for me to resist because I like Japan, and I've never been, but I can't wait to go there on a trip. One day, it will happen. And I will visit this anime museum that I didn't know existed, and now I want to do. Oh, I was making this joke before I read this designer story, and that's that the designer was supposed to visit Japan and then had to cancel because of COVID. And so instead he went through all the plans that they were going to do and notes and made a game out of it. I'm sold on the theme. Where's the rulebook? Oh, get out of here. That's ridiculously fun. It arrives wrapped in an elegant Let's Go to Japan designed furoshiki cloth. That's just fun. Oh, that's really fun. I gotta hand it to you. I might pay an extra $30 just to feel like somebody got me a present when it was really me getting myself another present. Oh, geez. That actually feels like a good value. You get some ceramic bowls for all your game bits and a bunch of bags and cloths. AEG, both of these options feel great. Let's hope it's actually interesting. A truer thematic sentence was never spoken. Activities can bring you both happiness and stress. It's like you've seen most of my vacations. Let's Go to Japan. Here we go. Rulebook. Yeah, almost halfway down the page. But at least it's after the gameplay. 16 pages just to say, hey, you're going to draft cards. Match some symbols. Oh, this is cool. It's kind of a new take on drafting. You're going to have two cards. You're going to play one and pass one. And you're basically building the options for someone as you go along the rounds. You'll see up there, that symbol, it says you should draw the entire stack of cards from the upper right corner of your own player board. So that's all the ones that you've stacked up on somebody else's player board. That's kind of neat. You've got a lot of forward thinking of what you pass. Really, you're just going to pick the one that benefits you the most. You can have a maximum of 3 cards in your column, and you have to assign them, basically just trying to match symbols as to what the best day it is to do that thing. There's only one day to eat street food, and that is the first day you arrive. Then, no time. You have anime museums to visit. It's like you're looking into my soul. Let's Go to Japan. Stress from doing an expensive activity. Yes. Yes. That would be my trip. But yeah, basically simple set collection matching. The effects of things have effects on other things. They chain together, right? That's the brief. $39 US. That feels okay. 53 Canadian. I can probably get it for cheaper. The standard edition I could probably get for cheaper once it hits my local stores, right? That's usually how it is for me up in Canada. Especially shipping $17 to Canada, $13 to the US. The only reason to do it here, sorry 463 backers, the only reason to do it here is if you want that special furoshiki cloth and those ceramic bowls. I mean, it's 94 Canadian, but you've spent more on deluxe vacations, haven't you? It's a very simple drafting game, though, that doesn't need any of that. But I, as somebody who likes the theme, I can see why people are attracted to it. I think they're adding in enough value to almost warrant it. And it seems like a decent enough set collection game. I don't think it's going to blow you away, but I think it'll be fun enough. Whether fun enough is enough to get it to your table over and over again, not sure, but there you go. That finishes Monday, April 10th at 8 p.m. Ooh, here's another one that I was excited about, and I'm really surprised is only $362,000. I say only, like I've ever seen that much money in my life. But I was expecting a lot more money raised for Unmatched because everybody loves Unmatched, and this is the cooperative sort of expansion to Unmatched. So I'm interested to check this out. I don't know much about it, but I'm interested to see how much it uses the existing system and how much it gives you new content. So it's just cooperative Unmatched. There's going to be a villain. You use your decks kind of the same way. They're going to run around and do bad stuff to you. But there's going to be little villains around. Oh, that's cool. If they have built-in dials to the chips, that would be sweet. And then you have to defeat the actual mini version of the biggest evil. So you can buy a bunch of different bosses. That's what these packs are going to be. That makes sense, I guess. Play any heroes competitively with the Tales to Amaze game board. Yeah, because all the game boards kind of do the same thing. That's not exciting at all. But you can have cross-compatibility, so that seems exciting. Read the rules. Give it to me. Love that. Near the top of the page. Well, I mean, it's like just above halfway, but it's not a big campaign page. I love these health dials. That's just fun. Okay, so here's an interesting part, and that I don't think is highlighted enough, is that each of the minions also get their own action deck, which feels fun to me, that each deck is going to be doing different things and running around the board in a different way. Stop them before they get to the end of their threat track. I do kind of like that these two are broken up, because that also later on indicates to me that you can get more heroes and then more villains as well. Unbelievable value! Well, so this is interesting though. If you think about Unmatched, you have the standard sets of 4 characters, and those kind of go for $40. $40 Canadian. I'm not sure how much US. Let's double check it. Regular price 40, special price 31, 32. So you can get at volume 1 4 characters for $30 US, right? So that covers the 4 character side, and then if you think about these two as a set of 2 characters, maybe a little bit more with the additional minions, kind of like an additional set, the $60 price point doesn't feel that unreasonable from what their standard pricing is. And of course, you get some little green Martians as well. Hate that it's a $5 pledge, because then you're bought in. 508 backers, they're all getting it. Or maybe they're just getting in to get some additional Unmatched stuff as well. What is great is you're going to be able to pick out other Unmatched sets as add-ons, so you can just get all the Unmatched stuff you wanted. However, it doesn't say exactly what kits are in there, so I would drop in the comments and make sure. Free shipping? Oh. Wait, that's not Slippery Jim. That was just me. Free shipping. It's only open to backers with shipping addresses in the United States and Canada. Free shipping to the US. $10 shipping to Canada. That's good. That is good. Free shipping to the US, that makes it feel almost reasonable to purchase if you love Unmatched. What a great thing. And presumably, it's a flat $10 shipping, so if you want to get everything Unmatched, this is a great time to do so. Yeah, that's a game changer, right? That makes the consideration almost pretty reasonable, especially depending on what sets they have. Retail street date to be in August, though. That's, yeah, really interested in that. That feels like, the Unmatched system, it wasn't a hit with me the one time that I played it, but I know it is better than what I was shown. And the fact that you can get additional stuff in the Pledge Manager with that free shipping feels really good. So if you're interested in that, check that out. The finish is Monday, April 10th at 11:59 p.m. You've heard of one deck dungeon, now try one card dungeon. MacGuffin returns. A little print and play game that honestly seems pretty decent. You roll some dice, you move your fighters around the area and try not to die from the monster's insane stats compared to your completely horrible stats that you just rolled down here. And you make your way through a series of cards, so not really just one card, but through a series of cards. You win. Very simple. If you like print and play, check this one out. I mean, I don't really need to talk too much more about it. Only €3 to print and play, fighting different stats of different monsters. That's Tuesday, April 11th at 7:18 a.m. This is one I'm also interested in checking out. This is Galactic Renaissance. Expand your influence over the galaxy in a political battle from Christian Martinez, the designer of Inish. And I've played Inish, and I quite enjoy Inish, so I am hoping that this is good too. But then again, Ankh exists, so you never know if a good designer is going to make a hit or not. Lots of buzzwords in that video that I think, if I'm right, are exactly the opposite feeling of what the game will actually feel like. I'm going to bet on me. That's a huge discount if that's actually what it's going to be. Ooh, and a price-friendly version. Give me that price-friendly version of the game. I love that. That's for me and these other 10 backers. You can see why, like, this is never going to catch on. People love their plastic way too much. I do what I can to lower the prices, but we just keep pushing them up. Price-friendly version will not include these Emissary minis and Institute minis, guaranteed. They cute though, right? But we like them. I like plastic. I do too. The thing about this price-friendly version is that if it doesn't include stretch goals, maybe it's the retail version, you know what I mean? Maybe you can wait and get it at retail. That's the problem with Kickstarter is, I've said it once, maybe once, I mentioned this once, there's just too much shipping. Okay, I'll shut up about it, I swear. Let's get to the rulebook. This is also cool. It's similar to Inish that, like, one thing is going to trigger the end of the game, I think, and you have to get all 10 points at once. There we go. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Galactic Renaissance? How has nobody dropped a stink about this? This is evidence that nobody... This feels like the cruelest joke that I've ever seen. What are you doing? Why does this rulebook lead to a deleted item? Check deleted files. Yeah. No deleted files found. Are you kidding me? I don't know how you can justify this. I don't know how you can justify having the most important part of your page being broken. Okay, thank goodness. Is there a reason the rulebook has been deleted from the Dropbox? Michael Walker, you get a friggin' shout out. You're the hero this campaign page needs. There's some minor adjustments to be made due to clarifications requested by backers and people played online. It was removed by mistake, and while I check messages, I cannot put it back, so it'll only be done Monday. Well, sorry, Galactic Renaissance. This episode goes out on Monday, and I guess I'll read it and give you an update in next week's episode. That's what I'll do. So to be continued with this campaign page. 75 euros, 111 Canadian. Inish is an expensive game. It's like 80 or something in stores, and then plus tax. It's also going to be a heck of a lot more than the 75. It's going to be like 100 euros to get it to your door. Just the 5th player expansion isn't even included as a stretch goal. See, that's always a good stretch goal, and that's not included here. So it looks good. I'll see if I can swing back next week, maybe when it's up, when the rulebook's up. That's just, it's just atrocious. Thank you again, Michael Walker. You're the true hero. Let's move on, and we'll swing back around Galactic Renaissance. We don't have too much left. We have Nekojima. Electrify the 4 districts of Nekojima with ingenuity and dexterity in this unique balance game. Not as easy as it may seem, so if you thought it was easy, it's not. Oh, Galactic Renaissance, that makes me so mad. Of course, it's Nekojima, because Neko is a cat. Idiot gringo. That's Japanese, right? I mean, we just have to see this awesome infomercial slip. These people are too good at their dexterity game when they're coming up right here. Oh my goodness. This looks fun though. This does look fun. It's a great video. Tells you pretty much everything you need to know. You're going to roll a dice that'll tell you where you need to put the 2 things, and then the color of the connectors. You can't let anything touch, and also some cats are going to go hang off of it. Easy dexterity game. How much is it going to cost? 38 euros, 56 Canadian. That feels reasonable for a box filled with wooden pieces. 21 Denshu. That's different from my grandfather's game that he tries to get me to play with him. 21 Dentures. That's just a joke. I didn't have to talk about mortality. Renee had to shout and scream at me from the other room, reminding me that my grandfather is dead. That's how we're going to end this week of Crowdfunding Countdown. Thanks so much for staying. Hold your loved ones close, because Renee was going to break into your home and remind you. He lived till he was 100, so pretty good. That was my Lebanese grandfather. No. This sucks. Free pickup at Germany, though. Free pickup at Essen. Free pickup in France. So that's good. If you live in Canada or the US, not as good. 20 to 25 euros in shipping. So it's like, dang. This looked good. This looked fun, but shipping just puts it over the wire. If you're in France, though, check it out. That finishes Tuesday, April 11th at 5:59 p.m. And finally, we have our last game I assume, I hope this is by the same people who produced Watch Hockey Get Drunk, and I assume it's just the exact same game, but with hockey and baseball taken out with a Control F. And yes, I mean the exact same game. Whenever your baseball player scores a goal or grabs the puck, you get to drink. Everyone's sitting there, staring at their beer, getting warmer and warmer. I was going to say, I thought Watch Hockey Get Drunk actually did a lot better than it did. Watch baseball get drunk, you're almost there. Watch hockey, 18,000. Watch baseball, 8,000. More hockey people like to get drunk versus baseball people, which is strange because baseball is much slower. Although I do like this card shown in this thumbnail. If a player is seen clapping while on the field, give a drink. Anyone being supportive to someone else is always an excuse to drink. That's it. That's it for the week. I mean, that's going to finish also Game Found. When is that finishing? I probably didn't put it in the right spot. 4/17. That's wrong. I shouldn't have covered it. That should have been in next week's, but here we are. What can you do? We've made it to the end of Crowdfunding Countdown. Thanks so much for sticking with me. Every week there's a pick for me and a pick for you. Pick for me is the thing that I'm the most interested in. The pick for you is the thing I think you might enjoy. And it's tough because we got a few this week that are pretty decent. Not as many this week, and that's probably why the ones that are good kind of stand out a little bit more. For me, though, I think I have a clear pick for me, and I think I have a clear pick from you. And it's not the one that I did the review on. Maybe because I know it, maybe because I already have it. The pick for me is going to be D.E.I. because of Alex. That's the reason. I am not here to make up my own mind on mechanics. I'm not here to evaluate things. I'm here just to say the opinion of others. That's what I've always done and always will do. No, D.E.I. looks fun, right? Like from a pure mechanics standpoint, this is me thinking about what game looks the most interesting mechanically, looks the most interesting to get to the table. I love the difference of the layers, and I love the asymmetrical factions that exist. I like the simplicity almost of the choices that you're making and how you're going to have to run around the board and be the most efficient and add things that only you can use. There's a lot of things here that are exciting to me, and so that's why it is my pick for me. And then my pick for you is going to be Unmatched Adventure Tales to Amaze. The free shipping, if you're in the US and in Canada, obviously. If you're not, well, I'm sorry. This is not the pick for you whatsoever. But I want to give Unmatched another chance. It was kind of in my top 5 disappointments, honestly, because I had a weird first interaction with the system, and I know the system can be better. And so this, I think, is a good price point if you like the system, if you were looking for a cooperative entry into the system, moving around on the board, using your decks and combining it, but comboed with you potentially having the ability to get yourself a couple unmatched sets. I don't know, I think it looks fun. I think it will deliver exactly on what it sets out to do. And the way it implements the co-op version of Unmatched also feels like it will meet the exact same level of fun that original Unmatched did. So if you were really excited about original Unmatched, well, I think the co-op version will feel a similar implementation, but I also think it's probably not a 4-player game. It's probably for like a 2-player game. Let's be real. Because Unmatched is also kind of like a 2-player game. And I don't know if there's enough happening in between the turns to sustain more people around the table, but you Unmatched players who love it can tell me otherwise. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the week. Those are my picks. Townsfolk Tussle is close, right? Like, I think it is a good game. It just, I don't want to push it so hard because of that incredible price point. And I feel perhaps I was too enthusiastic in my review. And so I fear if I'm overly enthusiastic in this one, you'll all go out and get it and need to get it. And I think what is there is definitely a good, fun game, but it's also very expensive. And I want you to be really aware of what it is before jumping in. And also because I feel like I kind of wore myself out on it, playing it a bunch in preparation for the review. And again, I think that is because I was playing too many scenarios in a row with the same characters, not because the game is bad. But when something gives me that experience, I also can't necessarily make it the pick for you. So there we go. That's it for the week. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you are excited about. If you have any questions, what's upcoming, what you've got your eyes on, all that sort of stuff. As for me, my name's Chris George, and I I do not have a catchphrase. And Galactic Renaissance, well, it doesn't have a rulebook.